Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos from beautiful Huntington. It is actually quite a beautiful day out there today. The sun is out, some clouds, but at least where I was, there was a nice breeze and warm, a little bit humid, but much better than what it had been the last couple of days where it's been chilly and wet and not so nice. But so for Shabbat, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful Shabbat. And we are in the month of June, and June is Pride Month. And so we'll be talking about that a little bit later, Pride Month and why it's important. And it's just been a very nice week, and we're at the end of the week. And now it's time for Shabbat, time for us to ease our way into the day of rest, built very nicely into our calendar. Every seventh day, a day of rest. And we're going to begin with by benching Licht, and we're going to have Sam bench Licht, page 3 for a reading, and then page 2 for the bracha.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahalik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Sam. All right, let's turn to page 6. Page 6, we'll have a responsive reading in the middle of the page. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young, restrained feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
All right, we're going to jump ahead to Lecha Dodi. And Kabbalat Shabbat comes to us from the mystics who felt that, or at least a group of mystics who felt that our actions on earth mirrored what was going on in heaven, and what was going on in heaven mirrored what was going on earth. So if everything was copacetic, everything was good. If there was strife or distress on earth, it meant that things were being shaken up in heaven and vice versa. And so Shabbat was a time for us to unify the aspects of God, the differing aspects of God, so that there could be peace, at least for Shabbat. And this comes to us, Kabbalat Shabbat, and especially Lecha Dodi, comes from the mystics at Tzfat, a city up in the northern Galil, which is absolutely beautiful all year long. And Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz gives us Lecha Dodi, and let's do 1, 2, and 3, 8 and 9 this evening. Lecha Dodi, page 20. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Hishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem tiferet v'li tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha. Ki mekor ha'bracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Mikdash melech ir melucha, Kumitzei mitoch hafecha, Rav lach shevet b'yemecha bacha, V'hu yachamol alayhi chemla, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Yamin u'smol tifrotzi, V'et Adonai taritzi, Al yad ish ben partzi, V'nismecha v'nagila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela, Bohi b'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha uvsola, Tochem hunei am segula, Bohi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Page 22. Let's read some verses from Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. We'll read the outdented paragraph in English and then sing Tzadik Katamar together. Page 22. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Tzadik katamar yifrach, Ke'erez balvanon yiskeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. O Jenuhun Beseva, Deshenim V'Rahananim, Yihiyu Lehagid, Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri, V'lo avlatabo. Not page 22, we just did Mizmor Shir. Page 24, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All right, friends, we have welcomed the Shabbos bride, and we have completed Kabbalat Shabbat, the easing into Shabbat, as it were. And we're on page 145. We'll begin the Arvit service, the evening service for Shabbat, with Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Bahagala, u'vizman kariv, v'yimiru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olam me'om haya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu le'la min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram v'yalma v'yimiru. Amen. Baruch Hu, page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Page 147, let's read responsively. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom.
Day follows day in succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures.
Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 148. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochneinu uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha li'olam va'ed ki heim chayenu v'yorech yameinu v'yorech yameinu Uvahem nehege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavat techal tasir mimenu li'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lavavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Halvavecha Vishinantam Lubanecha Vidibarta Bam Vishivtecha B'veitecha Uvlektecha Baderech Uvashokbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam Liot Al Yadecha V'hayula totafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha L'mahan tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai V'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 151, near the bottom, let's read responsively in English. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as in perfection evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
We grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learn God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of page 152. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nohorati lo osefele. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe, zeli anu v'amruhu, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'nehemar kifar Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo mi'ad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Top two lines of 153, Hashkivenu, and then the paragraph together in English. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, V'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 154, it's not Shabbat without it. Verses from the book of Exodus, talking about Shabbat, also known as Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat Ledorotam berit olam. We are at the central piece of the evening service for Shabbat, the Amidah, and we're going to begin on page 155 and chant 155, 156, and 157 together, and then continue silently. And as always, you can join in with us with the Hebrew, read the English if you wish, or offer up your own prayer or your own meditation at this time. But we'll begin together on 155. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'mevi Goel Lifnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava. Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim atah Rab L'Hoshia, Morid Hatahal, Mechakeh Chaim B'Chesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim. Umatir hasurim. Umekayem emunato. Lishenei afar. Michamocha mal givurot. Umidon melach, melech mini, umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'nemhan atah l'hachayot metim, baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hametim. Still continuing, if you're still continuing your Amidah, please finish at your own pace, but we're going to jump to 160 and read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. All right, page 163, Hoda'ah, a little bit of gratitude. And I know that we all have lots to be grateful for. And let's read responsibly on the top of 163. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise the source of being.
We're going to add a little bit to the Hoda'ah this week, as it's the beginning of Pride Month. My colleague and friend, Lisa Edwards, who is the rabbi at Beth Chaim Chadashim, BCC in Los Angeles, the country's oldest gay and lesbian synagogue. Not the largest, but the oldest. Beit Simchat Torah in New York is the largest. And when I was in rabbinical school, I did a lot of work with Rabbi Edwards and wrote a paper on their archives, where they have lots of rare documents about the early part of the gay liberation movement. And she crafted an addition to the Modim, an addition to the gratitude prayer. In the days before Stonewall, many Jews were among those who felt the sting of homophobia and biphobia, who suffered from misunderstanding and rejection by family and the Jewish community. But you, Creator of all, stood firm, reminding us what happened on the sixth day of creation. Vayivra Elohim et Adam b'tzalmo, b'tzelem Elohim bara oto, zachar u'nekeva bara otam. And God created the human being in God's image. In the image of God, it was created. Male and female, God created them. Until many came to understand that you do not create in vain, do not create without intent. Until many of us came to understand that we too are part of your design, loved equally by you. The more we have learned and understood, the more has pride returned to our spirit, and the more our spirits have returned to you. We pray for the day when Kol HaNeshama Tehalel Yah, when all spirits, when every soul that breathes shall praise you and admire your diverse creations. And let's close out this evening's Amidah on 164 with Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rahav Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rahav Yisrael Hamcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rahav Yisrael Hamcha Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. And the last two lines on the page. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivorech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. All right, we're going to jump ahead to page 253, the Mishaberach. And if you know anyone who needs special care this weekend, going into next week, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual healing, keep them in your thoughts and close to your heart. Middle of page 253. Misheberach Avotenu Mikor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mikor habracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. All right, pages 258 and 259. Prayer for our congregation, for our country, for Yerushalayim and Medinat Yisrael. Let's read together. Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us, love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. Sha'alu shalom Yerushalayim, yishlayu ohavayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu shabashamayim, tzur Yisrael v'golo, barech et medinat Yisrael, reishit smichat gulatenu. Hagein aleha bi'evrat chastecha, ufros aleha sukat shlomecha, ushlach oracha v'amitecha l'rosheha sareha v'yoetzeha, v'tachneim be'etza tova milfanecha, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam liyoshveha, v'nomar Amen. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. We are moving rapidly through the book of Bamidbar. We're at Shlach Lecha, sometimes just known as Shlach, not Shlach as in bad stuff or trashy stuff, but Shlach as in send. It's literally send you. And this is a very important piece, or a very important parsha, as it deals with the story or the report of the 12 spies. And before we get into that, I just want to let you know that the Torah is made up of all sorts of threads. I look at it as a tapestry. And some of the threads start at the very beginning and weave their way all the way through. Others pick up and just weave whatever pattern they're going to have, and then they end. And so we're entering into a period where there's 5 parshiot strung together that teach us about how we communicate with each other. Last week, we had the story at the end of the parsha of Aharon and Miriam complaining about Moshe and speaking slander about his wife, who was a Cushite. This week, we get the report of the spies, which affects all of Bnei Yisrael. So when the spies speak publicly and don't tell 100% the truth, it has devastating effects on the community. And we'll continue this for the next several weeks, where it's not exactly what we say, but how we say it and to whom we say it. And so this week, the spies go out, 12 go out, each spy, one spy from each of the tribes, and they return. All right, so they go out on this scouting mission, and they come back, and 10 of them say, the land is fruitful, that is true, but its cities contain giants, and we must have looked like grasshoppers in their eyes, and that's how we felt, so it's probably not going to work out for us. 2 of the spies, Joshua, Yehoshua, and Caleb, they disagree, and they urge the people to conquer the land, because after all, this is what God promised. God said that you will conquer the land. God didn't say it would necessarily be easy. God didn't say it would be uninhabited. But the people hear this, and they hear the 10 spies, and they cry out. They won't listen to the reason. They won't listen to the sanity of Joshua and Caleb, but they listened to the spies who came back and said, no, it's going to be disastrous for us. And the people cry out against Moshe and Aharon, and they say, let us go back to Egypt. Better to go back there than to die here Well, God gets angry, and God threatens to abandon them, destroy them, and create a new people for Moshe to lead. But Moshe jumps in on behalf of the people and says to God, look, you can't do this. Think of your image. It'll be bad PR, right? You took these people out of Egypt to make them into a nation, to deliver them into the land. And if you kill them here in the desert, it's going to seem as if you just brought them out so you could kill them. Think about what other people will say. And so God says, okay, I won't destroy them all at once. But because of their lack of faith, because they did not believe in my word, those who are living now will not get to see the land. They will not enter the land. They will wander for 40 years until the last one of this generation has died. And so they were within a hair's breadth of getting into the land. And some people said things that weren't necessarily true, but the people believed them, and it had horrible consequences for the community. So after that story, all right, I mean, that's an integral story. And then the Torah always never ceases to amaze me, turns around and goes back to talking about sacrifices and says that the offerings that we, by fire, right, burnt offerings for unintentional sins, right? And an unintentional sin in the mind of the Torah is a sin that you do out of ignorance. You don't know you're sinning. You do something by accident, or you don't know that you're not supposed to do something, or that you're not supposed to do something, and you sin. So you have to bring a sacrifice and ask for forgiveness. But an intentional sin, something that you do on purpose, knowing that you're sinning, you get punished. There's punishment for that. And again, we get this statement about the ger, the stranger. Right? Nowadays, we say that a ger is a convert. But I look at a ger as being anyone who is different than I am, a stranger. And so the Torah once again says that they are not to be treated differently. If they're living with you and they have accepted most of the laws living with you, you don't differentiate between them. If they bring a sacrifice, you accept it. But they have to perform the same ritual. They have to live by the same rule that everybody else does. So, for example, if there is a ger, if there's a stranger in the midst, and they want to bring a sacrifice and they want to be part of the community, and you welcome them to, but if they say, well, I'm still going to eat cheeseburgers, they're still subject to the same rules as the Jews if they want to be part of the community. So there's that. Then we have the story of the man who was gathering wood on Shabbat, which is a blatant violation of the rules for Shabbat, and he's taken out and stoned. And we don't know his name until much later when we meet his daughters, the daughters of Salafachad, who are really proto-feminists in the Torah. And then at the end of the Parsha, we get the third paragraph of the Shema. The paragraph about tzitzit and putting a fringe of blue, the tachelet, on your tzitzit. And the tzitzit are to remind us to follow the mitzvot, to be holy unto God. Right? So we're supposed to have the tzitzit, and when we see them, they're to remind us of our mission, of who we are. And that's the Torah in a nutshell this week. Shabbat Shalom from Parashat Shlach Lecha. All right. As I mentioned earlier today, we are in the beginning of Pride Month. Right? How it became a month we were discussing before services, and I did some research and I couldn't find when it became a month. Obviously, it's been a month for some time, and the one who really declared it Pride Month was in 2009 through 2016 by President Obama, who declared June a Pride Month. But they were always Pride events in June, because way back when I was just a wee lad, back in 1969, I was about a year and a half, a little bit over a year and a half. Early in the morning on June 28th, 1969, the New York Police Department decided that they were going to raid a bar where it was notorious for having gays and lesbians, and at the time, as they were known, transvestites. Clutch your pearls, everyone. This was a place where they would go and hang out. And the police would often raid it. And what they would do is they were going to shame the people. Because what would happen is that the police would announce that they were going to raid a bar, a gay bar, and they would alert the media, and the media would come and take pictures, and then the pictures would be in the next day's paper, and whoever was identified always lost their jobs and their families. Most often their jobs. Often, not always their jobs, most often also their families. And they were shamed, they were stigmatized. Except on this night, June 28, 1969, a bunch of them had enough. And it was mainly drag queens and gay men of color who stood up to the cops and said no more. And there's a famous line that Marsha P. Johnson, one of the heroes of the gay and lesbian liberation movement, she apparently threw the shot glass heard round the world, where she took, some say it was a shot glass, others say it was a brick. I see her throwing a brick, and yelled, "I got my civil rights," and threw a brick through a window, thus sparking several days of riots and the birth of the modern gay and lesbian liberation movement. But she wasn't alone. There was Sylvia Rivera, another drag queen, and they were the ones who started Pride Month for us, or Pride for us. And then the following year, the first Pride parades began in 1970, and they have continued pretty much unbroken up through last year. Right? There weren't, I don't know if anybody had official Pride parades. I know that there were people who drove in cars with Pride flags up and down streets and cities, and that was the idea of Pride. And as I said, in 2009 through 2016, President Obama declared June Pride Month. Pride events across the country, actually also across the world, are large and small. They can be a few dozen people in a small town, or they can be 1 million people in New York, Los Angeles, where the city shuts down large sections of the cities, Los Angeles and New York, so that people can come out and celebrate being who they are. For me, the Pride Parade is a very, very important part of my life. See, when I was growing up, it was in the 70s and 80s, and there were no role models for people like me who felt that they were different. Right? If you looked on television, you would see Paul Lynde, very flamboyant, hilarious, but very flamboyant. I had a member of my family, his name was John. He was a hairdresser. He would come in for family events with different colored hair, full-length chinchilla coats, suits that were in colors that I don't think that they have names for those colors. His fingers were decked out in rings and jewelry, very flamboyant. And I remember as a young boy going to bed and saying to God, please don't let me be like John or Paul Lynde, because I knew I wasn't like everybody else. But there were no role models. We didn't even have the vocabulary. I didn't have the vocabulary growing up in a small town for what I was experiencing. And you couldn't talk to people, because the moment they figured out that you might not be normal, which was the word they used, there was going to be trouble. And so myself and a number of people just kept it to ourselves. We were told to conform and fit in. You had to fit in. And yet I knew I didn't fit in. I knew that I wasn't like everybody else. I didn't want to do what my friends were doing. College got a little bit better. College, I realized that, well, not everybody was Paul Lynde or John. But even then, it was the 80s, and AIDS was running rampant through the gay community. So if you were even suspected of being gay, they thought you had AIDS too. It wasn't until I got to graduate school that I discovered a couple of things. One is that, contrary to what people had been telling me as an undergraduate, that there were no gay Jews. Jews aren't gay. No. That's other people, but we're all normal. Everybody else. So I found some gay Jews. And I also discovered my first Pride Parade. And I went and I put on a hat and I put on a pair of sunglasses and I stayed in the back of the crowd so nobody would see me. And I watched my first Pride Parade. And I saw a wide and wonderful array of people who were proud of who they were, dancing and singing and hugging. And there was a group of gay Jews that were out and proud, and all colors of people, it was amazing. And I felt for the first time in my life that I had found a group of people that were mine, that I was part of. And so I had to face the difficult decision. Now it was time for me to be proud and to step out. And I did. I was in my earliest 20s by the time I had the courage. It took me many years to come out to everybody in my family. It took me many years to come out to people in my professional circle. But it was the Gay Pride Parade that let me know that it was all right to be who I am. And so whether it's a big parade or a small parade, whether you think that, as I've seen on Facebook, why do we need gay pride? They should go back into the closet. That's where they belong. No, we don't belong there. We belong out and proud. And why not have a parade about it? Why not celebrate the great diversity of the world? Doesn't matter who you love, as long as you love and are loved. That's what pride is about. But you have to make sure you love yourself first. And it wasn't until I was in my mid-20s that I realized that I could love myself for who I was. And the rest is history, pride history, as far as I'm concerned. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
Sam, what time is it?
Kiddush.
A Kiddush time. Yes, it is. It is time for Kiddush, for Erev Shabbat, for Shabbat evenings. Thought there for a second Sam forgot, but he was channeling it, hoping that maybe I could say it without his prompt. Vayehi Erev, Vayehi Voker, Yom HaShishi, Vayechulu HaShamayim v'Haaretz, V'chol Tzivam, Vayechal Elohim Bayom HaShvi'i, Melachto Asher Asa, Vayishbot Bayom HaShvi'i, Mikol Melachto Asher Asa, Vayavarech Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i, Vayikadesh Oto, Ki Vo Shavat Mikol Melachto Asher bara Elohim la'asot. Sabri, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzovanu, b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon, inchilanu, Zikaron le'maaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lamikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, B'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai mekahadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
I'm miscounting the Omer. That's all right. It'll be back next year. Always comes back. All right. Aleinu, page 282. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kagoye haratzo, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, V'gor aleinu b'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim l'pnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshe v'yikaro b'shamayim imal, Ushlinatu zo, B'gov Hei Meromi, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emen Eloheinu Efes Ulato, Kakatu V'Torato, V'yadata Hayom V'Hashevota, El Levavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, Bashamayim Mimah, V'Haaretz Mi'itachat Eino. Let's read together the paragraph on 285. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. May all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. V'nehemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu, Yehyeh Adonai echad. Ushemo echad. This week we observed the following yard sites: Sarah Lazarus, relative of May Lazarus; Jeanette Tompkins, relative of Francis; Rosemary Friedman Cohen, daughter of Julius and Lena; Israel T. Gross, brother of Dave; Isidore Katz, Sandy Colker's father; Ben Romer, father of Bert, Don, and Gloria; Jack Elderman, husband of Rose, father of Ida Strauss; Julia Netchin, Max Netchin's mother; Harold Herbert, husband of Alice, father of Anita, Ellen, and Marilyn, uncle of Maria Hartz; Marion Cohen, Bernard Smith's sister; Al Elderman, relative of Ida Strauss; Lee Selleck, Maxine Yeaget's sister; Ida Gerber, Joan Rosa's mother; Lori Gottlieb, Jack and Gail's daughter; Linda and Jody's sister; Bernice M. Kincaid, mother of Sam; Bernard Samuels, father of Melanie. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us all, and may they always rest in peace. Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemech rabbah, be'alma tivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam lomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shmei dekudashah, brechu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'yalma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. Just a couple of quick announcements. Services tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here, and then Sunday morning at 9 a.m. No adult ed this Sunday. We pick it up on the second and third Sundays of June and July. And the the second and third, and then the second and third, I think it's also in August. So it's just twice a month for the summer, our Taste of Talmud. Please join us. We had a really nice discussion the last Sunday when we started it off. Monday evening at 6:30, our deep dive into Genesis picks up. So please look forward to that. Tuesday night is a Board of Trustees meeting at 7. And the Zoom will go out this week.
But we'll be meeting in person. The Zoom will be for those who can't attend.
Or don't feel comfortable attending, right? Okay, so there will be a Zoom link, but it will be in person. And then Wednesday night is Yiddish choir, and then we're back again Friday night. So lots going on this week, even though it's the summer. And look forward to seeing you all either in class, at meetings, or just here on Zoom or wherever we get to see you. And so enjoy this beautiful evening, and we're going to conclude this evening with I'm in a Yigdal sort of mood. I'm in a Yigdal sort of mind. Page 324 for those who for Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach nimsa v'yehenei tel metziuto echad v'yen yachid keyichudo nelham v'gam oitzof liachduto ein lo. I lost my place. Ein lo demuta guf v'yeheino guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon l'chol davar asher nivra rishon v'yein reshit lereshito hino adon olam l'chol notzar yoreh gedulato malchuto Shefan nevuato netano elan she segulato v'tifarto lo kam b'Yisrael kemo she'od navi u'mahabit et emunato Torah temet natan le'amoel al yad nevi'o neman beito Lo yachalif ha'el ve'lo yamir dato li'oho lahamim lezulato sofer v'yodeya sitarenu mabit l'sof davar bekadmato gomer ish chesed kemifalo notein l'rasha ra kirishato Yishlach b'ketz yamin v'shichenu liftot mechakeetz Yeshuato Meitim Yechayel b'rohov chasto Baruch Adei ad Shem Tehilato Meitim Yechayel b'rohov chasto Baruch Adei ad Shem Tehilato. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. I can't see. We do have people who, thank you, Sam, who said Shabbat Shalom, but we didn't have it on our screen. So, Jenny Bro, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Enjoy the sunshine this weekend. Thank you, Jenny. We will. ML Glazer and Herman, well done, sir and ma'am. Wish all a good Shabbat. Jedediah Jackson, happy Shabbat. Rabbi, your teachings bring me wisdom when I need it most. Well, thank you. Mom is on, Rabbi's mom and Cliff. Wish all of you a happy Shabbat and Shabbat Shalom. I'm very proud of you. I hope she's talking about me. And David Johnson, Shabbat Shalom. Happy Pride Month. Thank you all. Special shout out to the people in Brooklyn, to Melanie, to Patty Ann and Aaron. Everyone, Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. We'll see you soon. Be careful out there.